And we are back. Welcome back to another episode of the American Voices, where we want to hear what you have to say for the election this year in 2024. So today, I definitely have a brand new caller on the line today. Caller, would you like to introduce yourself and where you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Jack Black. I'm from the Bronx.
Oh, snap. We got New York in the building. I know that y'all have a lot to say about the election from what I've been seeing in the news. There's a lot going on out there because that's actually considered a blue state, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So, my question for you today is: will you be voting? If you are voting, who are you voting for and the reason why? And if you are not voting, why are you not voting?
Well, yeah, I'll be voting this year, and I'll be voting for Kamala Harris this year. And the reason why I'll be voting for her is because her stance on the economic growth of America. You know, it seems like she has a better plan than Trump has, and for the past 4 years, maybe more than that, our economy has seemed to like dwindle down. And it seemed to like we're not the top dogs in the world anymore when it comes to money. So I would like to see our country, make a rebound and get back to where we supposed to be in that aspect. And also, I do respect her views on abortion rights. You know, I noticed that Trump kind of went back and flip flop today on his abortion um, rights ideals, and it made him look kind of crazy in the eyes of American people, especially me. I thought he looked crazy today. So that's that's mostly why for right now. But yeah,
Okay. And hey, that is your choice and you definitely have that right to have to want that decision to be yours. I guess my question to you because I don't I'm not opposed to, which way a person wants to vote. I just want to know, the beneficial aspect of it when it comes to each candidate. And I do understand what you're saying in regards to women's rights, even though in my opinion I don't think men should be talking on women's rights, but I will give you that.
and
Now I
and
will
that's
say
my
this,
that was my stance too.
and I get that with both Kamala and Trump. I guess you're seeing it more like a woman who's never had children before could tell a woman more about who has children about her body than she can, which is also not true.
Right.
So in that retrospect, I cannot agree with that for many different reasons. The black community, and I know this is not brand new information, but black women have collectively aborted over 1 billion babies. I don't know if you know how many generations of babies that could have been, but that is such a, you talk about decline, that's a major one. And for someone like Kamala to give the right to abort a baby once it has been born is murder. Okay. I just want that to be acknowledged because we are talking about a life. Okay. We're not talking about something that two people just came together, sparked, and no, we're talking about a life. If you look in the mirror every day before you start your day, you know and see yourself as a life. Okay. So let's be realistic about this abortion thing. I'm not
Understood.
I'm pro life, and everybody has their right to be whichever way that they want to be. Like I said, this is not pushback on your decision. I'm just trying to understand how that is beneficial to, anybody's community.
My thing is, how is it beneficial for a man to say, "Hey, I don't want you to abort that baby, you lay down and had that baby. Any way you had it, it could be detrimental to your health, and you still gonna make that person have the baby. I mean, a life is a life. I'm also pro life too, but it's not up to us. It's not up to men. It's not up to you know to the government. Actually, I don't believe and that's the aspect that I understand where you stand on. I don't agree with any of them. I really don't want to vote this year, but I feel like I need to vote this year. Like we need to vote this year. I feel like that's important to America, and it's not only for the abortion thing, right? It's for so many other things. Um, Trump comes back in office. What's gonna happen with this whole war thing? You know, it's a whole lot. It's not just about abortion. I understand that you're a pro-lifer on that aspect, and you feel that hey, black women has already aborted billions of babies, but how many has other races aborted? And I know you can't speak for them, but it all boils down to us being a part of the human race at the end of the day. Like,
and just to be clear, Trump never stopped women from getting an abortion. I'm not quite sure where people is getting this information from. What he did was he took it out of the taxpayers' dollars, meaning that if you want it, you go pay for it yourself. You could go get an abortion. There's no laws preventing women from mutilating their bodies. Just like a woman could go get a BBL, she could go get an abortion if she wanted to. Trump is not stopping that.
You're right. He didn't stop it, but he also um, okayed certain states that were against that whole, abortion thing to stop with these clinics and allowing women to abort these fetuses and stuff, even because of health problems. A lot of these women, a lot of women have health problems and with facing like a lot of issues dealing with babies, and they couldn't have kids. They couldn't have that kid. But what about them? What about the woman? She's still alive. You know what I'm saying? It's a life for life situation. It's a touchy situation. I don't even like talking about it because I have nothing to say about that. If you need to get an abortion because of your own reasons, that's your own reasoning. You know, I can't speak on it, but
I agree with that. I just don't think that it should be considered a policy. Now I know you mentioned something about a war. I don't know if you know that we are currently in war and that Kamala did sign for some Afghanistan in exit where 13 of our troopers were murdered brutally. And then on top of that, do you not realize how weakened our military has been from the time that Trump was president? Because I know that you speak in increments, which is perfect. You speak from the moments from when Trump was president and you compare it to Kamala. But I just think that the comparisons are not the important ones. When you speak on the army or the military, you want to make sure that you have a budget for them, and they don't have a budget in the KH and the Kamala policy. She's not even mentioning the military. Matter of fact, when she and Biden went down to that recent where they had that military thing at, she didn't even know when to put her hand over her heart for the Pledge of Allegiance. I think that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because children know when to do that. You know what I mean? Like you and me, I don't know if you have different generations of families here, like how many generations of families that you have here, but we should not be allowing somebody who doesn't have as much uh history here as we do to be president. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're just giving your resources away. I don't think people see that. I think a person that's president should have a military background. They should be here for at least 5 generations. Her mother and her father is not from here. You know what I'm saying? So I think that needs to be addressed. The fact that she's signing that there's so many, you're talking about wars, but you have so many illegal immigrants that are killing us. That's a war. You know what I'm saying? They are signing bills across the states for all of these illegal immigrant shelters. Where's the citizen shelters being? Where are those bills at for the homeless people that are here, that were born here, that has more history here than the illegal immigrants? Are we just saying forget about them? Because Trump is not saying forget about them. He's trying to say let's focus on the American citizens. I don't understand why people don't see that.
Okay, he's saying let's focus on the American citizens, right? But let's focus on the rich and wealthy American citizens. Let's focus on the corporations. That's what he's saying. He's not saying let's focus on the working class. He's not saying let's focus on the poor. He's not saying that. He's not. He doesn't have us in his best interest at heart when it comes to the working class or the poor. He wants to put more taxes on us and cut taxes for the wealthy. I mean, if you if you're a working class person like I am now, like I've been for the last 15 plus years, it it kind of hits the pocket, not only the pocket, but it also hits your mind kind of hard when you got to spend an extra $3,000 a year for taxes that you really have nothing. You're really not seeing any progress in that. He hasn't touched on infrastructure once, not once, and infrastructure poorly, desperately needed in America right now. I mean, if that was the case, I'll be fine with that. As a tax-paying, citizen and an American citizen. And I understand your stance on the presidency. You know, the president needs to be an American through and through by having, their family being stable in America for generations. I get that. But what about Obama? You know, his family is the same thing.
But look, insanity is what though? Insanity is what though?
Huh?
I said insanity is what though?
It's doing the same thing, and how he's not learning from it. Basically,
Exactly. So to even compare that to this would be called insanity. And as far as like the tax breaks, I have to correct you on that. And I realize that a lot of Kamala, and it's okay to be misinformed. Like that's the whole point of me trying to bring everybody together so that we could put all the information together. Because I think we all want the same things. I'm not against you. I'm not your enemy. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like the tax breaks, Trump is giving all Americans, whether you have a business or you're working, you get tax cuts. And that's actually on his pay.
what is this tax? Well, what is this tax break for the working class? He hasn't given one. What is it? I haven't heard it yet. I've heard the $5 million tax break that he wants to give to the wealthy and corporations. That's the big thing, and that's what's going to put our economy in an even dampened state.
Basically, what
The
he's going
thing
to
is,
do
we
is
need to
take
grow.
back the taxes that the Biden and Harris administration has put into things that nobody in America has asked for to be put with their labor dollars. And he's going to put it where it belongs, back into the communities of the
Back
people
into
that
the
live.
wealthy.
Go ahead.
But no, no, no. You say he's gonna put it back into where it belongs. And from what I'm getting to him, where it belongs is back with the corporations, back with
But
the
don't they
ones
pay
on
you?
five
If
and
you
one
work
percent.
for a job, don't you know that they got to pay you? Wouldn't you want your job to get a tax break? That's what I don't understand. I think you would have to be a business owner to really understand how tax cuts work versus an employee. These are not the same taxes. And I think people try to compare it like, well, if I got to pay all these taxes, the business should, they don't pay the same taxes. That for one, they pay quadruple the amount of taxes depending on how many employees that they have. So you would want your business to have a tax break because then they don't have to fire people. So that's a good thing. People have to stop looking at it like that. And that's where the lack of economics come in with people. They feel like jobs don't deserve relief. And they do.
I'm not saying they don't. I'm not saying they don't. All I'm saying is, why would you give them that much of a tax break?
So they could put
No,
more
I'm not
money
saying
back in your
don't give
pocket.
them a tax break. I'm sorry.
So they could put more money back into your. Do you remember when? I remember when Trump was president. I was getting a raise every year. I don't know if jobs are still doing that in the last 4 years. You know what I mean? But I know like every year from the time that Trump was president prior was like a yearly raise. Now these things are like, oh, it's maybe up for discussion. That's not supposed to be how,
Look,
when you're working and putting your time and labor into companies, how they view you. You're supposed to be an asset to a company. They're supposed to value your time and
that's a
effort that you
fact.
actually put into it and be willing to invest into your time that you are taking away from your life to dedicate to. And it goes both ways because they okay to give you a check, but a lot of people, it's not just a check, obviously, because you could have a check and still not be where you want to be in life. So it's obviously more than that. You know what I'm saying? I don't see anything wrong with a company that has a plethora, because there's so many companies that's letting people go, not even thinking about it, no thought about it, and hiring people to pay them half the amount that they was paying the person that they just let go. And that's because the taxes are lower. So if they get tax cuts, they don't have to fire people.
Hmm. I get your stance on that. I'm not saying, you know, that's a bad stance, but it's not completely the whole picture. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not that he's trying to just give them the tax break. It's more of him. He's trying to give them the tax break, not for um, what's his name, Joe Biden's term in office. It's more. It's more. It goes back to his tenure too. He's trying to do it from then because he was trying to do it then, and then what happened? COVID happened, and he was giving out all this money, pumping out all this money into the economy, giving people stimulus checks. I'm not saying he was wrong for that because I voted for Trump. I'm not gonna lie, I voted for him. But the thing is, you pumped all this money into the economy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And gave all this money out, and look what happened to our economy. Implosion. It's more about implosion. And you're gonna give all this money to these corporations and the wealthy, and they're not going to do what is needed. That's the thing. It has to be enforced, and he's not that type of president that's going to enforce. You know, okay, do what's right for your for your employees. Like, no, he's not that. He's all about business. If it's looking good for him, it's looking good for him. That's what it is. You know? He's looking out for himself, and I understand that because hey, I'm a New Yorker. I'm from here through and through. I've been in the nitty gritty, been in the streets. You know what I'm saying? I've been out of the streets for a long time, so I understand when somebody's out for self. You know, they're just trying to capitalize on a buck, and this is what he's doing. He's trying to get into the good graces of these corporations and the will and the rich, so they can keep endorsing him, keep backing him, keep um um you know pumping the money that he might need to pass certain laws um, that hey we don't have the backing for this and that and the third for his and their game. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not about I'm honestly I don't even want to. I don't even. I wish we had a better. I wish we had a better candidate out here. I'm not gonna lie, because I don't really like Kamala Harris that tough either. I'm saying it. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really like her that much either. But I feel like for America, she's better for us. I'm not gonna lie. She's better for us. That's how I feel.
And you
That's
know
my
what? I
personal
feel
opinion.
like that
It
feeling
might
is
it might not
certainly
be.
mutual. And there is a better option. It's just that we have to be able to get those numbers together to actually formulate a strategy that can actually get our point across where we don't have to vote for a president, when we start learning how to vote locally and learning how to change laws properly and learning how to get out there every year, outside of just the presidential year, which is how you truly do change laws, then we can start having those type of conversations. But they come with numbers. You got to have 1 million people, and it's called blank voting. It's called blank voting. It focuses on your communities, who is running for certain positions where you live at. You vote for those people, and you put on, instead of voting for either a president, you put down what it is that everybody is agreeing on the same thing with, whether that be, like you say, tax cuts, whether it be reparations, it could be children's rights, because children's rights are being completely obliterated under the Kamala and the Biden and Harris administration. So, hopefully it could be rethrived. Hopefully it could be rethrived, because the innocence of children should not be taken away so swiftly with just no protection around it at all. I'm so avid about protecting children. You know what I mean? So that's not a primary focus of Kamala's neither, but it definitely is for Trump, and he's trying to get men out of women's sports. That's something that's very important to me too, because every man that's taking a female spot is taking another position from another female. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that that's fair.
You mean that community?
But it's not to disparage. I'm not disparaging, because I don't do stuff like that. But, that's maybe a topic of discussion for another day. But I just want them to create their own sports, because I would support them if they're doing it for themselves. You know what I'm saying? I feel like men, I can't as a female go and play in the men's sport, and men can't come and play in a women's sport. And they should have it where neither one of us can go and play in their sports. You know what I'm saying? So I would love to see them create their own thing. Like, I'm not against that community, and I don't want that message to be, in no way or form, shape to come out like that, because I'm not that kind of person.
Right. I mean, my stance on that is they can play the same sports we play. Just give them their own leagues, if that's the case. Like, it doesn't have to be like a co-op thing with that. They can have their own sport and compete in their own sports and be great on their own accord. You know what I'm saying? I do, like.
And I agree with that. Well,
I wish we had better candidates.
It will come if we learn how to stick together. This is the whole thing that I'm learning, that I'm doing my best to try to do. And I'm trying to do it in positive light and bringing people together. I don't care who party you're voting for. This is not somewhere you're going to come and get beat up on because you're going one way or the other. My point is to bring everybody together, because I believe we all want the same things. I truly believe that. We just are trying to figure out a way, the best strategy in getting it done. And it's not going to be done every 4 years if we decide that that's when we want to decide to, do something collectively. We have to learn to start doing these things every year, every single year. So is there anything you would like to let the audience know, let them know where to find you, promote yourself, or any last words you would like to say?
I'm thinking, nah, not really. Just everybody stay safe and, vote. Get out there and vote. That's the best thing you can do. You want to be heard. Some people say, oh, my vote don't count. It don't count if you don't vote. So just get out there and vote. Well, that's it. Everybody, be safe. All love, one love.
And there you have it. And I definitely want to say thank you for being a part of my show tonight and part of the panel and letting us know how you want to vote this year. I appreciate it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and place you back in the queue, and just thank you for your presence tonight.
Thanks for having me. I'll love to come on and do this again with you. You have me.
I definitely will. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And there you have it. Another completed episode. And listen, I am open to hearing everybody's opinions and, ideas. Like, this is not a pro one way or the other. I'm trying to bring us all together. So, if you want to know how to get on the panel, all you have to do is hit the community tab. It'll tell you exactly how to put your request in and be added to the list. If you like this video, please hit the like so that we can get the video through the algorithm. I'm doing it from the ground up. So, it's going to be a slow but steady, but it's going to keep going up already. So thank you for being here. Have a good evening, afternoon, morning, whatever time it was when you watched this. And until next time, peace.